Hey, Gator Nation, welcome back to the Respect Our Decision podcast. This is episode 45. As always, I'm your host, Hirsch, and with me are my great co-host, CJ, the man McCann,
What's up, guys?
and the hype man, Wes.
What's good? What's good, Gator Nation?
Gator Nation, sorry that we're coming at you a day late. We had some bad weather in the South yesterday. Some of y'all may have experienced it. I hope everyone is safe out there. Had some power outages here where I'm from, and sometimes life happens. But we're here. We got more information that gives us a little bit more. The schedule came out after that, so maybe we talk a little schedule in this episode. Of course, we got all kinds of recruiting information, good and bad. We got, as the episode is titled, man, highs and lows, and we got a little bit of both. And then, of course, CJ is going to talk a little bit about the Gators as they prepare to square off in Omaha, baby. We're on the way. Got to take on those boys from Virginia this week. Time to get hype. So, guys, as always, make sure you go out and you can download us wherever you get your podcast from. And if you're checking us out on YouTube and maybe you haven't, you just stumbled upon us and you're like, oh, what's this, guys? Hey, if you wouldn't bother, maybe go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you don't know, we're doing a giveaway this month for a Scared Money Don't Make Money t-shirt from our good friends at Alma Mater. All you have to do to be entered in the giveaway for that shirt is subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this video, and leave a comment down below. Guys, let's set a goal for this video. Let's get 50 likes on this video, guys. That is the goal for the video. Let's see if we can make it happen, Gator Nation. I have faith in you to get it done. All right, guys, we're going to jump right into it, man. We got a lot of recruiting news to cover. It's been a busy week, both good and bad. We're going to jump right into it. We got some new Gators in the house, some new commits. We're going to start right off by talking about we got an edge commitment that goes to the 2023 class from Quincy Ivory, a JUCO player out of East Los Angeles College. Quincy Ivory just actually moved to the defensive side of the ball. He played a little quarterback, too, coming out of high school, played a little quarterback there at his school, but last year made a full-time shift to defense and played pretty well. In 10 games, he had 8.5 sacks, 12.5 tackles for a loss, 3 fumble recoveries. This is just adding a body to the room, basically, guys. This is what it's like going out into the portal and getting the guy. You're getting the guy off the JUCO ranks. Obviously, he either worked out or sent in the old tape for the coaches, and the coaches really liked what they saw and feel like they can make something out of this. Wes, I'm gonna go to you first, man. I know you're wanting some edge guys, but I don't think this is quite the guy you had in mind. But hey, you're always gonna have some projects. What you think, Wes?
To keep it positive, I won't speak on anything negative. So to keep it positive, the thing that I do love about when athletes transfer to another position, I don't mind it when it's a quarterback, athletic type quarterback. To me, that means that you're an athlete, especially when you played in high school or on the JUCO ranks. That's where you went at. That means you have some sort of athletic ability. So he's probably pretty raw, even though he was playing in the JUCO ranks. So I'm not going to speak to any, the stats that you gave, 8 sacks in 10 games. But he may have some things. He may have some things you can work with. But it's going to be a long way for him, especially playing the SEC. As far as technique, is very, very pitiful. I can't even talk. It's pitiful for when you're using your hands and dealing with elite offensive linemen, whether you're playing the right side or the left side, SEC, and you've never done it before. He's going to have a lot to learn. So, hopefully Coach Chaos has some clay and some tools to work with that can develop him into a rush passer. So that's all I got to say. I'm going to keep it positive. I'm going to leave it at that.
CJ, what's your take?
I'm cool with coaches taking projects. I understand that. You better recruit if you're going to do that too, because you can't just have a whole class full of projects. You can't have a whole bunch of guys come in that are projects. But he's a transfer. They obviously like what they've seen. He used to play quarterback. He's got great size. It means he's fast. He's got better feet than a lot of guys that play in his position. It definitely, there's obviously something there that they see that they could take and develop him into a really good athlete. And it's just mostly like a depth take because this guy is a project. He's a guy that's not going to really contribute for maybe a year or two. Um, so yeah, you take him. You like what you see. You like what he's got going on, and you bring him in and see if you can work your magic on him. That's the only thing I could say about him because it is just a project. I'm not going to be negative on the kid. I'm always glad when we get kids. I'm glad they want to come play here. So, good luck to him. I hope that they turn him into a pretty fine athlete, and he does a lot of great things for us.
Yeah. My only drawback on this is, as we've mentioned in previous episodes, this was going to be a tight year for scholarships to offer to recruits and for portal kids. So you really got to make sure this kid's a hit. Or else you're taken away from what could possibly be a player that could see meaningful playing time in this recruiting class, in the 2024 recruiting class. Now, I know the coaches will probably find a way to get the kids they want in, and that's fine. And I'm not doubting that this young man they see some outlandish potential in him. But as we're going to talk about in a minute, there's some projects on deck here, and you can only have so many projects, especially at SEC level ball. It's a proven fact that you've got to have the certain amount of talent to win in the SEC. So we're going to move on now to the next. We got 2 commitments for the 2024 class since our last episode, guys. We're going to break those down real quick. Now, these aren't needle movers. We're just going to go ahead and say it before we even get into the young men. They're not guys that you're going to look at and be like, oh, my gosh, man, we just added to the unbelievable class average we were building. No, these are guys that are going to take away a little bit from the class average for now. These are kids that absolutely could rise. But once again, you're taking some risk here. But we're going to start with Mike Williams, offensive tackle out of Maryland. He officially visited Florida last weekend. And on Monday, he went ahead and popped for the Gators. This is a massive young man, 6'7", 315 pounds. He was formerly committed to the South Carolina Gamecocks, had offers from Michigan State, South Carolina, obviously, Miami, Tennessee, USC. Now, sometimes we know these aren't committal, offers. We're not going to sit here and lie. We're not doing a Hayes Fawcett here and, just throwing in Florida for the sake of, trolling. But but it is what it is. I mean, the kid's great size. He's ranked outside of the top 1,000 recruits currently, but once again, very strong kid, good feet, good footwork. Staff really likes what they see in him. So he went ahead and committed to the Gators. And before I get the thoughts from the guys, I'm going to go ahead and cover the second commitment as well, because he is also an offensive tackle. Guys, we got the number 1 player in the country.
Yes, sir.
The country of Germany.
1.
The country of Germany. We have landed, and guys, you're going to have to bear with us till we get this name right. This kid, he came out of nowhere for all of us. Noel Portagigan, out of the country of Germany, 6'5", 330-pound offensive tackle, who is also a dancer. And is so agile, he can do kip-ups at 6'5", 330 pounds. Yeah. This is a kid now. He's been hitting the camp scene. He had recently gotten offers from South Carolina. He got an offer from Auburn. So this is a kid that just really got on the scene, and he's shooting up on people's radars now because they hadn't really seen him. I mean, I don't know how the hell we saw him. I don't know how we found this kid.
The Army.
But he's the number 1 player. He was the number 1 ranked player in Germany. But once again, guys, you're taking a project here. Now, I know what the argument is. Rob Sale turned Osiris Torrance into a unanimous All-American. And I don't argue that at all. I absolutely know that offensive line is a hard position to judge. Kids grow into positions, they grow out of positions. It's tough. And I do trust Rob Sale's coaching ability. But if you've been listening to the show recently, I have a few questions about Rob Sale and Coach Stapleton's recruiting ability. So, CJ, I'm going to start with you. And I know Wes wants to go last on this because Wes has got a little rant he probably wants to get into about this.
We're gonna play bad cop, good cop. I'll be the good cop, and let Wes be the bad cop.
Yeah.
No, again, when you're taking these kids, and I've always said this with the offensive line, it is the hardest position to grade out of high school for a lot of different reasons. You still want to get high rated kids because a lot of times high rated kids are going to be better. That's just the way it is. These scouts aren't stupid. They see a lot of kids. They do some questionable things, but they're not stupid. My silver lining with all of this is these guys are massive. They are big boys. It's not like we're taking John Hevesy, 5'10", 240-pound offensive lineman to come play. These guys are at least, NBA height, and they weigh 300 pounds plus. So at least there's something to work with. If you're going to take a project, these are definitely guys you take. And two, with Noel in Germany, I don't know how good he is or how good he isn't. I can tell you he's really agile. He's got a great size. He's got a great build. To be the number one player in Germany seems like it's got to speak for something. Even though they don't play a whole lot of football over there, he's still the big fish in the small pond. So you are getting a good player. I think he can be a great player. They've compared his game to Osiris Torrance. They feel like he's a lot like him. He's got great feet. He's agile. If you watch some of his film, he has, quick movements, which is really good. Can he get over here and play against the biggest and the baddest? I don't know. But he's definitely a great project. He's a great piece of clay to try to mold. The problem that a lot of people are going to have, yes, Osiris Torrance was a great player. But we got the finished product, Osiris Torrance, when he came to Florida. We didn't get freshman, junior, sophomore Osiris Torrance, Louisiana.
We got
Lafayette.
the crock pot version.
Right. We got him. We didn't get the raw piece of meat. We got here's the dinner. Here's the pot roast. And that was easier for us to take. And we could say, well, look, Osiris, he was really good. Osiris wasn't that great as a freshman and a sophomore, guys. He had to build. Are we going to be patient enough? Do we have the depth to let somebody build? That's going to take enough time. I feel like the guys we took in the portal, they're all young enough to be here for a good long time. I hope they work out. Again, I'm not doubting the ability that Rob Sale has as a coach, because he's proven he can put guys in the league that are 2- and 3-star players. So he's done it. But man, like I said, like I've been saying this whole time, though, you've got to start getting some of these higher ranked Rod Kearney-esque guys in there to let them develop those guys, because then you're really developing high-level athletes. But with that being said, with the guys we took, they have great size. If you're taking a project at offensive lineman, they are 2 guys that you could take. They are 2 guys that make sense to take. Like I said, it's not 225-pound, 6'1" kid running the veer offense or the triple option for Paul Johnson. These are big boys. They can be developed into great offensive linemen, and we don't really know how good or not they are coming out of high school because, like I said, it's just a hard position to grade. So I'll let Wes take it from here, but that's kind of my thought on those 2 guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to be too harsh. This is not the topic I want to be too harsh on, but I'm going to be harsh in a sense. And speaking to what you were saying about the depth, it's okay to take projects when you have depth and you have time for kids that develop. But the way I'm looking at this offensive line, I don't know if we have that. If a couple guys, which happens every year, no matter what team it is, no matter Alabama, Georgia, us, Tennessee, South Carolina, somebody's going to get hurt on the lower line. And then you have to have somebody to be able to – you can't take projects and expect for them to come in and be able to work. And like you said, it may have taken 1 to 2 years for Cyrus Torrance to get to where he needed to be. Okay, so if it's taking him 1 to 2 years to get to where he needs to be, that means the guys we took last year and the guys we taking this year going to need 2 years. So to me, that's not going to work out in the end. Then we have to continue to lean on the portal. Like I said, I don't mind the kid from Germany. If you tell me an offensive lineman with great feet, I love that. To me, that's somebody you can work with. Offensive lineman with great feet, athletic, that's a plus. I don't mind that, but and to me, the fact that we're taking these kids in June, to me, speaks to the offensive line recruiting whole. That means you have no confidence of getting anybody later on down the line when you can probably circle back and get these kids later. You know what I'm saying? Because these kids aren't pressed or to recruit now. They just have to do a better job. I mean, I'm not like some of the fans, and I'll get into that more later when we talk about Chauncey, but I'm not into the world with the entire staff. But when it comes to O-line, they have not proven anything to me. Kearney's the only guy that I can say is a big boy recruit. That's it. Everybody else is, I feel like anybody in the SEC could have gotten. And I want the recruits that maybe only the top 5 can get. We see what South Carolina is doing down there, well, down here where I'm at, as far as O-line recruiting. The kid Mike was committed to them at once, but they were recruiting so well, maybe he got scared and ran. We taking South Carolina leftovers, in my opinion, because their O-line recruiting is good. Is better than good. Is where I would hope we would be at right now. And to me, they just have to do better. Them specifically, out of all the recruiting, they're the ones that are slacking in the 2 years that Napier's been here.
I don't disagree with you. I've said it before on this show. And hey, if the guys that they're recruiting start just being all SEC caliber, Najee Harris and those guys, they come out, and blow the socks off of us and look great. We won't question their takes, but we haven't seen the product yet other than Osiris. I mean, that we can't, and you can't just continue to go, oh, well, what about Osiris? Every school gets low-rated kids that end up playing well above their ranking. And I understand that coaching and development goes into that. That's not to be argued. But, we've got to see some results outside of the Osiris Torrance, of the world. You've got to see some of these kids are going to have to show that, we took a lower guy, but we developed him into a great, starter. And that's going to take time, and it's going to take patience. And here we are again with the same, preaching the same thing over and over again. But we're going to move on. But, guys, don't hate on anybody being number 1 in Germany, okay? David Hasselhoff made a whole musical career out of that. So it's got to mean something.
That's right. We got 99 red balloons in this V.
Now we're going to have to talk about something that's going to cause a little pain. And, guys, that's part of what recruiting is. There's a lot of pain involved, and unfortunately, we have to cover it. As you might know, unless you only get your recruiting news from this podcast, and I know most of y'all don't, Chauncey Bowens this weekend went ahead and flipped to Georgia. It stings. It absolutely does. We got word around Friday that it was probably going to go down, and Saturday he went ahead and sent the edit out and said he was shutting down his recruitment, and he was locked in with Georgia. All right, let's talk about it, guys. It sucks. It sucks. It does. We did all the heavy lifting for Georgia on this one in Kirby. We did the evaluating. We took him back when nobody else was after him. And I saw a lot of tweets and comments when Chauncey Bowens committed to us last year saying, why are we taking a running back this early? This guy, when there was all, Gibson and people were high on Stacey Gage and so many others. Why are we taking this guy? And those same people that are saying that a year ago are now going, oh, Billy's getting stuffed in a locker for his run, blah, blah, blah. Hey, there's good and bad of this situation. One, your coach can evaluate. But the bad is you lost your big-time running back commitment to Georgia. And he instantly, of course, started shooting up the rankings like you knew he would. But it's part of it. Here's the deal, guys. We haven't had many kids. Billy has lost how many kids? How many kids have we had flipped? Is Bowens
Truly flip.
Truly flipped is Bowens. I think Chauncey's the first.
What was the
when
kid
you say
that went to
truly?
Miami?
Because we had some guys that we pushed out.
Yes,
But
and that's
we
what
had a 3-star offensive lineman.
Oh yeah,
flip
the
to
kid
Miami,
that flipped to Miami last year. Yep.
in like 3 in the morning.
Yes.
And then you had Nixon who flipped, but he wasn't going to.
Nixon was not going to qualify. So think about this, guys. This isn't something that's happening regularly.
Talk about Rashada, but
yes, there have been some hiccups, but there haven't been many kids except the one 3-star offensive lineman that went to Miami at 3 a.m. in the morning, and now Chauncey, that have been flipped from Billy. So I saw a lot of people saying, that like this was a phenomenon or something, like it was just happening all the time, and it's not. But it sucks. It is. It's part of recruiting. Every team gets kids flipped. And if this is the worst thing we get as far as a kid getting flipped this cycle, we will live and we will be fine. Because if you're worried about running back right now at Florida, your worry is misplaced. So, Wes, you said you were going to talk about it a little bit. Say what you got to say.
Yeah, it was some fans. Some fan said something about DJ Lagway. He's supposed to be this all-world recruiter. Like, why are you tweeting at the kid, our 5-star quarterback? For one, why are you saying something to him? And then there was another fan. We would get a 5-star quarterback who can't put anybody around him. And my comment to that was Tennessee got Nico, the number 1 overall quarterback prospect we've probably seen since Caleb Williams that played for Oklahoma and USC. And they put one receiver around him, top 100. And somebody pushed back and said, well, we comparing ourselves to Tennessee now. If you haven't been listening to our podcast, we've all talked about this. We are Tennessee. We are probably below Tennessee right now. So don't expect us to be something that we are not. We're not the 2010 even the 2012 when last time we could really competed for a championship. That's not us right now. And it's not just and the other thing on top of that is June. It's freaking June, and y'all are ready to jump in the road and get hit by a bus. Why? Friday Night Lights have not even happened yet. And then they said, well, the Friday Night Lights are for the future recruits. That's not what I'm talking about. Friday Night Lights last year, Billy had it set up where we had a couple, maybe 4 guys recruited leading up to Friday Night Lights that week. That's what I'm speaking to. I'm not speaking to the event Friday Night Lights where we're looking at the 25 recruits. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Billy's planning whole. If the end of June comes and there's no big time guys come in, then I'm with you. Then we can have this discussion about, hey, the recruiting sucks. They're not doing. We heard June was supposed to be a big month. I'm saying June was supposed to be a big month, so I'm with you there. But last week was only the first. I think the first week was a half week of June. Was the first full week of June. We were going into our second weekend of recruiting, and y'all ready to give it up already. This is my thing. If recruiting is not for you, stop following it because it's going to be ebbs and flows and it's going to be ups and downs. So if you're going to be up top of the building ready to jump off because we got a commitment flip when we're trying to get Evans from Texas A&M, when we're trying to flip Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State, it happens everywhere. This is a whole new world. So stop acting, stop getting. You have the patience of children. Some of you guys have the patience of children. Calm down, give it some time, and see what happens. This was supposed to be my class, so I'm speaking to it. I'm going to be pissed the F off if come by December, my class average is not top 5, and my recruiting overall ranking is not top 8. That's me. That's what I predicted. So why the hell, if that's where your expectation, are you getting pissed the F off in June? Why? We got 8 months to December to signing day. So why are you ready to jump off a bridge already? And we got a 5-star quarterback in the class that's competing for the elite. Before the new records came out, we had 4 guys in the freaking top 50, and y'all are bitching. Yes, I'm saying y'all are bitching. And we had 4 guys, now it's 2 guys in the top 50, with the other 2 guys 51 and like 52 or 53, some 54 and on in. Why? Woo. Why? Calm the F down, man. Like Aaron Rodgers said a couple years ago, RELAX. Relax. Shout out to you, CJ.
Relax.
That's why we call him the hype man. He damn. Whew.
That's right,
Boys.
boy. He's stealing my thunder on
All right,
Durant.
CJ, see if you can follow that up. Challenge accepted.
Listen, I don't give two diddly doo doos about a running back at this point in the way football works. Does it suck to lose him? Yeah. Y'all got to understand something. Kirby missed on a lot of running backs in the last class or so,
including a big-time legacy.
He missed on Justice Haynes. He missed on Reuben Owens. He missed on Jarrett Gibson. He missed on Cedric Baxter. He missed on Cam Davis, who's committed to Florida State. He's missed on a lot of running backs. He had to have one. I'm not going to get into what all speculation, what I've heard, whatever. Georgia did a lot to pull this off. They needed Chauncey Bowens.
Bags were dropped.
Bad. They needed him bad, way more than we needed. And I know that sucks to hear. And we're Florida, and why can't we? Billy Napier's driving a G-Wagon and a Maybach, and we can't afford these commits. He doesn't own those cars, you idiots. They give them to the dealership. He drives these kids around. It's not like he's bankrolling these things. And even if it was that way, it's not like Billy Napier's out here buying kids. Like, that's not how this works. Y'all just make up crap. Like, it sucks. You miss on a kid. You lose Chauncey Bowens. It's a whiff. It's a miss. It's a mess up. Okay, cool. I get it. Let's move on. There's 100 running backs in the class. The last two running backs, our best two running backs on the team, were a mid-range, low-end 4-star and a kid that was a 2-star that nobody wanted that played at Louisiana Lafayette. And they are two guys that are going to be in contention for all conference awards. So if there's one area on this team that I'm not going to freak out and worry about, it's running back. And if you've been following along, a lot of the kids that spurn Florida like this, that do us pretty dirty, things don't usually end up well for them. They don't have a good track record of working out.
We're not wishing harm or anything.
Not wishing
like
anything.
That's just not saying what he's saying. Before somebody says that.
I'm just saying. I'm not wishing harm on Chauncey. Good luck to him. I hope he has a great career. Good luck to the young man. I could have picked Georgia. It's just like, it's okay. We'll see him with Miles Graham in Jacksonville when he comes down here, and we're going to find out who made the mistake. So, guys, let him do what he's going to do. Leave him alone. Leave the damn coaches alone. It's June. Just hold on. Just wait a minute. We're sitting here. We've preached patience. Believe me, if nothing works out for us and it all goes to pot and we don't take nothing but 3-star kids for the rest of the way out, we're going to be pissed too. We're not saying that you don't have any reason to get upset. I totally understand getting upset. But right now, and who you're directing your anger at is the wrong people. It's the wrong attitude to have. You're out here tweeting at kids, tweeting at coaches, telling them to do better, telling coaches to do better, that have 5-star safeties committed. Then you're trying to tell him to do better on the kid committing that wasn't even in our radar. We had no offer given to him. You guys are getting obsessive. You might need to go chill out. You might go take a vacation or something. This stuff ain't for everybody.
And no, we don't mean all of y'all. If you're offended by what was just said, then you might need to look in the mirror. Guys, we don't really know what the running back board looks like right now, because I've even heard that Coach DeLuca said he might be good with just one back in this class, and then take looking in the portal after the season if need be for another back, because it's going to be a young running back room, and you might want a little experience in there. Some names maybe to keep an eye on, though. Tavani Mazzell has been on campus a few times. I don't expect him probably, but obviously the cousin of Aiden Mazzell. Maybe you see us double back on Jordan Lyle, even though I've heard that they thought he was a little slower than they wanted at their running back position. He, of course, is committed to Ohio State. Ohio State's got 2 running back commits. Stacey Gage. Now, not a lot of people say, Stacey Gage committed to UCF Saturday. We should have taken him. Ask yourself, why did Stacey Gage end up at UCF?
Yeah, he was at one point was expected to go to Oklahoma or Florida, and that turned into UCF.
I'll give you a bit of knowledge here, guys. Stacey Gage has tried to commit to UF already, and we did not take him. So that's just a little bit of knowledge out there that There's a reason Stacey Gage is at UCF and not any of the big three or anywhere else that's a major program in the country. And yes, I'm saying UCF is not a major program, so they can just live with it. Before we move on to this weekend's official visits, I want to, throw one piece of news out there because I've seen people asking if you've seen Derek LeBlanc, who, of course, we recruited last cycle at Osceola, ended up going to Oklahoma and has already entered the transfer portal. And a lot of people out there have been asking, are we going to go back after the kid? No, the staff has no interest in him. Look for him to end up maybe at UCF or USF, but he's not coming to the University of Florida. The staff has no interest in him. We've moved on down the road. So that covers that. All right, guys. This is a big time official visit weekend. Last weekend was we talked about it last week, that last week's official visits were kind of middle of the road. Not the real big guys. If the first weekend was a really big recruiting weekend, this is like big recruiting weekend B, because we got some names we need to do work on. And I got a feeling this weekend's going to pan out pretty well for us, but we're going to go ahead and talk about a few guys on this list. And we're going to start with one that we've been rumored for a while now. He already rescheduled this visit, so he'll be here this weekend. Former Michigan State commitment, Jamari Howard, will be in town this weekend. This is from all accounts, a Florida State-Florida battle. He grew up a Florida State fan. He likes Coach Surtain at Florida State. He's a big fan of his, but it's also been rumored for quite a while that Florida coaches and Coach Raymond feel very good about Jamari Howard. And this kid has a chance to be in this class as cornerback 1. So he will be on campus this weekend as well as Louisiana cornerback Wardell Mack. Now, LSU took another DB commitment today, giving them 7 on the year. So, CJ, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think the chances are that we get it done with Jamari Howard this weekend? I know we've been in a good spot, but Florida State feels the same way.
I don't know. I can't get a read on the kid, man. I know that, I feel bad for Michigan State and all this because he still hasn't decommitted from Michigan State.
He has.
He has officially decommitted from Michigan State.
Yeah, that happened 3 weeks ago, but it was very he did it. He didn't get an edit done for it or any of that showboating stuff.
Yeah, but it just felt like it was, for the longest time, it was really, really bad looking on him. It's like, man, if you're really not wanting to go to Michigan State anymore, you should probably let everybody know. But I don't know with Jamari Howard. I've always just felt in my gut that he's going to go to Florida State because he is a Florida State fan and Surtain is a very good recruiter. And I might get knocked for that, but that's just how I feel. I understand if it was in a position where it's like last year where Surtain is not at Florida State, I really feel like our chances are pretty well, shut the door. We've got him. But in my gut, I've always felt like he's going to end up at Florida State. But we'll definitely see. Corey Raymond is a hell of a recruiter. You're not going to doubt him if he wants him, if he gets him. He's going to be a great player for us. And Wardell Mack is another kid that I'm like, I really like Wardell Mack, but it's so hard to get Louisiana kids to go away from Louisiana. It just doesn't happen a lot. A lot of those kids stay and they play at LSU. Even though Corey Raymond is the guy that coached all of those DBs, that was, instrumental in making them a great, DB factory, the kids still, they just love to go to LSU. It's kind of like the advantage that Georgia usually has, when they're really the only show in town. So they can really pull all that great talent from their state. We'll see. Again, Corey Raymond is a guy that you don't doubt with this because he's got it to sell. These kids, if they're going to play for the best, they're going to play for Corey Raymond, and they'll believe that. And you never want to count yourself out with a DB recruit with him. But to say maybe do we see Jamari Howard commit? I don't think so. There's been no real push for that. But I don't know. Anything's possible. Like I said, you get these kids on campus, you start showing them stuff, they start getting hyped up, taking pictures. Who knows?
Wes, I want to hit you with a separate position right now because I know this has also been a point of contention with you lately. And as we know, talking about bad news that happened this week, Walter Matthews committed to USC, fresh off of his visit with us. Now, I know he gave some reasons as to why he did this. I think the young man was trying to get out of the South, and he got caught up in the California lifestyle. But this is a kid, obviously, that we were in really good shape for the better part of a month. I mean, you've heard the talk. We'd all heard it. Amir Jackson out of Portal, Georgia, visits this weekend, and this is why I'm bringing this up. At this point, do you consider Amir Jackson a can't-miss recruit?
Exactly. Yep. When you and you know, I kept asking, I kept reading, and I kept, we talked off air, on air about Matthews, and I was like, why haven't this shut down yet? If we leading for this kid, he's our number one tight end. Shut it down, get it done, and they didn't get it done. So when I went on my rant on the last topic we talked about, I understand some of you guys' frustration. This is another situation where things have to get done and things have to be better in this aspect. So don't let this linger on. You lost your number one guy. Jackson was probably the number two guy. Got to get it done. And I know there's other two. I think it's two other tight ends that we're after. The Tennessee commitment, and I forgot the other guy.
Yeah, but they're recruiting him more as a big wide receiver. They're not actually recruiting him as a tight end.
Yeah, and then Tavian Galloway has kind of come in, and
that's
former LSU commit that decommitted last week.
That's the other guy I couldn't remember. So, but with Jackson, gotta lock him down. He's your number one guy. Got to get him in the class. He was predominantly your number two guy, but we knew we were going to take probably two tight ends in this class. Got to get him. I don't care who the other guys are, because I love Jackson. To get both of those kids, Matthews and Jackson, would have been stellar class. Okay, you can still have a decent tight end group. If you get Jackson and get somebody to go with Jackson, and with the way our tight end room looks, there should be no fear of stepping into that room and say, I can play next year or I can play in 2 years. So this has to be done. This has to be cemented. This weekend is a huge visit for Callaway and the staff of getting this kid locked in. So I'm hoping that it can get shut down. I'm tired of waiting, and I need foot on throat.
I want to talk about two more guys, and one is already a Gator commit. Kanan Daniels, our lone running back commit in this class, is visiting this weekend. But he's not coming alone. He's bringing a friend with him. And this is a guy I know the Gators are hot and heavy after. Jamonta Waller, edge rusher out of Mississippi, a top 100 edge rusher out of Mississippi. His commitment has been very, very quiet. You don't hear a lot about Jamonta Waller. Word on the streets is that he doesn't want to stay in Mississippi. Penn State's been after him. But when he set this visit up, it was set up around Kanan Daniels' visit. He wanted to come with Kanan Daniels, fellow Mississippi guy. And it's no secret, guys. We've been after edge rushers. I mean, I know that once again, I went back to saying this about Wes when we talked about Quincy Ivory at the top of the show, is that Wes has been very emphatic, offline, online, everywhere. Man, when am I going to get my edge rusher? Is it Ross? Is it Colin Simmons? We got to get somebody off that edge. It goes back to Keeley last year, and I hate to open old wounds because, Wes was so close to Keon Keeley, but this is a chance for this staff to kind of sneak in right here and get something done, because depending on who you talk to and who is familiar with the recruitment, I know even Steve Whitfong has said it at times that he feels like he's heard chatter for Florida on this guy, that it would not surprise him if he ended up at Florida. And this is one of those things where there's no dominant looking team out there like he's leaning specifically to a way. This is where when you bring this kid in and be like, look, we want you here. We want to get this done now, and let's get it done. And we'll see what happens, but people in Gainesville feel pretty good in this recruitment. So Another guy the Gators feel good about coming in this weekend, and I'm trying to go through these a little quicker, guys. Nasir Johnson, defensive tackle out of Georgia. Staff feels really good on this kid. It's been us and Florida State's been recruiting him. This is a kid I know that the Gators are really trying to get wrapped up this weekend. There's a real good feeling, like I said, around Gainesville about the kid. Would be great to go ahead and get us a defensive tackle in the class. We'll have to wait and see how that goes, but I expect things to go well for the good guys on this one. One other kid, the staff, from what I've told, and this kind of surprised me when I was told this, that the guy that the staff feels really good with is linebacker Aaron Childs out of I forgot what state Aaron Childs is out of. I think it's Maryland.
I was about to say Virginia, but
no, that's Chris Jones. Chris Jones is out of Virginia. I believe
Yeah,
Childs is out of Maryland.
Yeah, he's somewhere in the DMV.
DMV,
Yeah, I mean, Maryland kids, man, there's a lot of them this year when you think about it. Number 80 overall kid in the composite. Just hey, Jay Bateman, man, golly, how many of these kids you trying to get, Jay Bateman? Now, granted, we still got to keep our fingers crossed and held tight because Chris Jones is going to go visit Athens, and God knows we don't want Kirby to stick it to us twice in a 10-day period. But everybody in Gainesville still says they feel great about Christopher Jones, that he's just taking his visits and then he's going to sit down and decide. But we'll wait and see. You know, we've heard that song and dance before. But if you ended up getting, say, an Aaron Childs, and then you've got Miles Graham, and, you know, there's rumors that Darius Hayes could slide out to end because he's a big kid, and we've talked about that. But Jay Bateman is doing the damn thing, man. If he gets one of these, one or both of these guys, Jay Bateman, top recruiter on the staff, right there with any of them. TJ Abrams is a Florida State commit at wide receivers visiting this weekend. I have not heard any buzz one way or the other about that, but obviously, we're in the game for some receivers given the TJ Moore recruitment. Things, if you followed any information from last week, and we didn't cover this, things seemingly went very well with Miami commit Chance Robinson on his visit last weekend, and now we're bringing in a Florida State wide receiver commitment, really looking to get this wide receiver room back on track. And the last guy I'm going to cover right here before we move on is Fletcher Westfall, offensive tackle out of Virginia, is visiting this weekend, number 264 overall in the composite. He comes in. We obviously have talked about we're in desperate need of some higher-ranked offensive linemen. He has a visit next week scheduled to Arkansas. CJ, how important is it that we shut this down before he gets to go?
It's super important. Do not let him get to Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman will take this kid. Sam Pittman, if his one thing he knows he can do is recruit offensive linemen. You've got to get this. You've got to get this one right. This is a kid that is super important. We need it. Like bad, like I mean, we need him like Rick James need a crack rock. I mean, seriously, we gotta get him. I mean, we need some offensive line help, and we need a really stud offensive lineman to bolster this class. Because if you can get those guys, then it makes taking our German friend Mr. Noel and Mr. Williams, it makes you feel better about taking them. You've got a net there. You've got a higher ranked kid, and they might end up being better than the higher ranked kid. I don't know, but at least you got him in the class. I would love to have him. He's a massive young man. I would love to have him in the class. He definitely fits the mold of what they're looking for, but you cannot let him go get talked to by Sam Pittman, because Sam Pittman, he can sell ice to an Eskimo.
I love some Sam Pittman. I hated him when he was at Georgia because God Almighty, but. The damn man can recruit some offensive
he can recruit for sure.
Yeah, out of that list that you named, of course, Hersham Waller. The way CJ's, I'm not even going to talk about offensive lineman because y'all know how I feel about that. I'm getting that way with Russian. I'm getting a little bit frustrated there. So Waller is somebody that Childs is just icing on the cake, especially if we get Chris Jones. But Waller is the guy that I'm hoping the staff can not wrap things up, but. Well, because they've been talking to him, they've been dealing with him. But go ahead and say, hey, kid, We want you to come on over here, like stuff that you're speaking to. So out of those 4 kids that you talked about, Waller's my guy that I'm can't wait to hear the feedback from that visit this weekend. Hopefully, I don't hear anything. Hopefully, I just see an edit come up on the timeline.
Yeah, I don't need any more updates. I need some edits. But guys, I keep preaching it. Wes said it earlier. You know, it's been my thing since the first week of June when we had our episode. I keep saying, let's wait till July 1st, and then we'll form a conclusion. I promise you, whatever episode we do the first week of July will be Hirsch giving a grade to the month of June and this recruiting class and saying, job well done, needs improvement, or failed. One way, it's going to be one of those 3. And I'm going to tell you straight up what I feel about it. And we'll probably all have the same opinion. Some of y'all have already formed that opinion, though. and that was why Wes had to rant, because, you know, here we are. It's the 15th. We're in the halfway mark. And I get it. That the commitments aren't moving the needle for you. And, you know, we lost one.
They are
Tyrone Biggums, man. That's the guy you were trying to say, CJ. They need to commit. They need edits. They need the recruits.
I get that. You guys are getting your ass beat in the quote retweets on Twitter. I understand it, and that's why you need these commitments. But man, you guys got to calm down.
I got a feeling next week's show is going to have a little bit of a higher thing. You know, I think we're going to be a little bit more excited as we prep for Friday Night Lights next week. That's just me. That's just me. I might have heard a few things. I might not have, but it don't matter. Just tune in next week, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, we also have some more positive news to talk about, because the Gators are in Omaha, and CJ is about to tell us why we should be excited for the Gators in Omaha. CJ, let us know.
Man, you know, what a game, what a series with South Carolina.
We didn't lose that series.
I was there live. No, we lost the first one, and that was when the season was over. We ended. Yeah. I don't know. Somehow we made it to Omaha with a season that's been over. But what a showing by the Florida Gator faithful showing up at the game. We had 8,800 people there for the last game of series clinch to go to Omaha. It was the rowdiest environment I think I've ever been in a baseball game for Florida. It rivaled what you would see at a football game, with people really showing up, really cheering on the team, really being involved. It was a hell of a time. We're going to Omaha for the first time since 2018. You know, again, I always kind of caution everybody not to freak out about that. We would have went in 2020. That team was very good, but COVID had other ideas. But I'm super excited because we got a pretty favorable side of the bracket. No Tennessee, no LSU, no Wake Forest on our side. We got Virginia, we got Oral Roberts, and we got TCU. 3 very good baseball teams. They're not pushovers, but you know, they're not LSU and Wake Forest, which are the teams that I think most people are picking to win the tournament. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a fight. We're going to play Friday night at 7:00 tentatively against Virginia. Virginia's got a very good baseball team, rivaled only the ACC by Wake Forest. So, you know, they're definitely not going to be a pushover. Brandon Spur is going to be pitching, but it's a great time right now because this is what we work to. And I'm you know, and you can call me a bad fan or whatever, but I've always said from the start of the season, get to Omaha and everything after that is just gravy. That's the name, because baseball is so hard to win a national championship. If we got to this team to Omaha, we have with a chance to win the whole thing. Whatever happens here on out is just icing on the cake for me. I'm excited for these guys. They played their heart out. They never gave up. They played their best baseball here down the stretch. Hurston Waldrop has been a man possessed on the mound with his pitching, throwing over 25 strikeouts in his last 2 games. He didn't give up a run at all in his last start against South Carolina. So, I mean, into that offense, that's unheard of. Those guys are really good. So there's a lot to look forward to. Also, little recruiting portal news here. The Florida Gators did add a gentleman, Mr. Kelly Austin, from the UCLA Bruins, was an all-conference pitcher. through the transfer portal. Sully is on the plane to Omaha and getting transfers at the same time. He is a man that can do it all. But you get an all-conference pitcher with a sub-4 ERA, and he had 104 strikeouts last year. So a great addition to the team to add some much-needed senior depth to the rotation when you're losing Waldrop and you're losing Sproat. So that was amazing to do. And Sully's just getting started with this portal, guys. I think that we're going to really see him dip his toes more into it this year with the payoff that he's had from Hurston Waldrop and the payoff he's had from BT Riopel. They have really showed Kevin O'Sullivan, because he wasn't sure about it at first, that this portal thing can work to get a few of these guys in. But you got to, he's always going to recruit great. He's always high school recruiting is your number one. It's your bread and butter. But to be able to fill a few gaps on the team with the portal, Kevin O'Sullivan's going to be able to do that just as good as anybody else. I'm excited to see it. It's Omaha. It's the best time of the year. So congratulations to the Florida Gators winning their regional, the super regional, SEC champions. We made it there. It's been a long season. We got we can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. Hopefully we can win a national championship. I mean, raise another one in the stadium. That would be awesome, and that would cement Kevin O'Sullivan as one of the greatest baseball coaches of all time and the greatest baseball coach the University of Florida has ever seen. So that would be really special for him. But, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's up there now. So good on him. Good on the guys. Then we'll get to talk a little bit. Baseball season winds down. I'll talk a little bit about the draft coming up soon, post this, and then we'll put baseball away for a little while unless we get some big-time news that I'll update you guys on. But thanks for riding with me. Baseball. A lot of you guys, I'm sure, weren't really big Gators baseball buffs. You didn't watch it as much, but hopefully through what we've done here, you guys have kind of caught on some more to what's going on with the baseball scene and how much fun it can be to follow. And I hope you guys that did go to a game for the first time this year really enjoyed it. I hope you'll be back. I always enjoy it. So thank you guys for sticking with me through this, and I really appreciate the support for the baseball stuff.
Yes, sir. You've made me a bigger fan. Like I've always been kind of very casual about baseball, but just hearing you talk about it, I know all the guys better now. I follow it a lot more than I did. College baseball is very exciting, but it's when you really actually start to follow it, you realize how much more exciting it is than you even knew. So I appreciate all you brought at the table, and I know everyone else probably does too. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Like we said, there's a lot going on right now for the Gators. I mean, we're winning golf national championships. We're winning track and field national championships. Time to try to win a baseball national championship, man, and maybe snag a few high-rated recruits along the way would make for a really good month of June. Hopefully some of y'all haven't completely flipped your calendars to July and just canceled the rest of the month, but if you had, I got a feeling you're going to be sorry you did, but it's here or there. Everybody, has their own speed of dealing with things. Just try to be patient, man. Like Wes said, don't tweet at kids. If you see somebody tweeting at kids, put a stop to it. Say something. Don't. I ain't telling you have to be nasty. I'm not telling you have to jump somebody's stuff, but just say, hey, man, please delete that. That ain't the way we need to be as fans. We get a bad enough rap about stuff already, and we earn a lot of it. But don't be a fan that tweets at kids just because he don't want to play for your sports team. That's that man's life decision. He has to live with the consequences or beneficial, results of whatever he chooses, and that's the rest of his life. He don't need Joe 367492 on Twitter telling him that he's a bum and he made a stupid choice because, just stop it. Seek help.
Touch
All
grass.
Right. Yeah, touch grass. Christopher Zen, if you're still listening, you know who you are. All right, guys. CJ, what you got before we get out of here?
I just want to thank you guys again for listening to Sport Us as Creators. Don't forget about the giveaway. We're almost through June. We're halfway through. So you got to get in now. You got to get in so you can get a chance to win the T-shirt. Again, check our link below for Alma Mater. They're good friends. They've got a brand new T-shirt out with the back-to-back track and field championships. So if you want to get something like that, or the golf championships, or maybe even soon we might have a baseball shirt coming through there, hopefully. But you guys use our link. It helps us out a ton, helps them out a ton. Father's Day, you're going to get something for your dad. Make sure you do that. There's a lot of things, coming down the pike that we're going to be working on soon, and we're going to update you guys on it. Might even have something to do with a little Netflix stuff. I don't know. We'll talk about it, but keep an ear out for that. We've got some stuff in the works we're trying to get done for you guys to help you guys out and give some more content, as I'll say. But I'll leave it at that. But thank you guys so much. Check us out on the Twitter. Check us out on the Facebook. You guys know what to do. Leave the like and the subscribe and the comments and the notification bell. Turn it on so you get notified every time we upload a new video. It does give us a lot of help. If we're doing something wrong, let us know that too. That helps us out to give a good gauge of what you guys want to see and what you want to hear.
Yes, sir. Wes, send us home.
Yeah, and to piggyback on what CJ was saying about Omaha, they're constantly putting out new material. So keep checking that out with using our link to see the new things that they're continuing to put out. So shout out to them as our sponsor. And as always, we thank you guys. And before I get into, I can go ahead and say that. Thank you guys for supporting us. As always, thank you to our troops that support us as well. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys and all that you do for serving our country. I will not be here next weekend. I will be on a cruise next week. Doing the pod. Doing the big pod that CJ and Hirsch will do. Hopefully, because there's some things that might be transpiring that hopefully they'll have a good pod next week. My phone will be off. I will be in the Bahamas, so hopefully a safe, trip with my family. But I will try to have my phone on so Hirsch and CJ can let me know the good things that are going on next week during Friday Night Lights. So
we'll relay tweets by Wes, messages by Wes, whatever we got. We'll channel it. The hype man tweets.
I'll stick a note in a bottle and we'll float it out there.
Oh man. But as always, you know how it goes here. Go Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators, baby. Catch y'all next week.